Hi, I'm Kit from Minor Conflict, and this is Thursday Drinks, where we sit around and talk shit about the game that we love. Today we have James.
Hello.
And Alan.
Yep.
And Henry.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about some 40k. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Did you introduce yourself?
Yeah,
you did.
so.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I did. Just making sure.
Cheers.
I think,
Right,
okay. No, yeah.
Anyways,
From the top.
9th edition. There's previews and tips and leaks dropping every day. I've been writing this script for this talk. I've rewritten it like 5 times because things keep dropping.
So many updates, it's so frustrating.
This morning, they just released a template for the new battle rounds. Pretty much exactly the same as they've always been, except for they've added one more phase, which is the command phase, which starts before everything else. And to be honest, we don't know much.
We don't know anything about it, right? Yeah.
No, besides something about, this is where Battleforge armies acquire new command points and spend ones they have on certain stratagems. So it implies there's a lot of pre-game stratagems.
Or pre-turn strategy.
Pre-turn stratagems, exactly.
Yeah.
This is every turn. And
Which is no matter whose turn it is, which is
interesting,
right?
It
Which
is.
would have to be like core stratagems, right? Like universal stratagems.
Yes.
Well, not necessarily, right? So if you had a stratagem to make one of your units -1 to hit or +1 to hit, you could
Maybe this is where you have to do it.
use it in your opponent's turn. Essentially, if they're
that's
going
probably
for the
going to be
Defense.
a core stratagem that everyone can use.
I
Because
think
at the
there will be
moment-
universal ones, but yeah.
Yeah, but at the moment, none of the stratagems that have been released in these PA books or anything like that reflect anything like that.
Yeah, no, that's right.
As long as you can spend a singular CP on that one dice roll each turn, that's the essential one.
That's
the one
that's the
what it
one
is.
reroll, yeah.
When you roll 2 ones. For
What's
a
it
plasma.
actually called? It's not called. We call it the command reroll.
Yeah, command reroll.
Is that what it is?
I think that's what it's called, but I'm not entirely sure.
That's not important. I'm
actually-
sorry. We're off
Tactical genius.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot of things that came out just after our last talk, which pretty much invalidated our last podcast, but please still go watch
And
it.
I was wrong about chainswords.
Exactly.
And I feel very silly.
But we'll go back to that. There's a lot of things have been talked by the game designers from GW, and I've ranked them in what I think affects the game the most, at least in my opinion. Could be other people's opinions. First being, command points and army compositions are going to change. So, before, you guys know how command points worked. You pretty much needed certain detachments.
You bought detachments which gained you a certain amount of command points for what you brought, right?
But apparently now, that's gone out the windows. What you're getting is, depending on the game size, both players get the exact same amount of command points. So this leads to a lot of...
We do know that detachments aren't going away.
No,
Because they've
detachments...
said Vigilus is a part of it, right? And Vigilus has those detachments, so we know that some things are...
They're saying all the
Same.
previous books are going to be valid. Not everything from Psychic Awakening will carry over,
Yeah.
but we don't know what that's going to be. So, what does this mean? This means some armies that used to struggle with command points, such as Harlequins...
Custodes, Grey Knights...
yes, Grey Knights, Harlequins, no longer are bound
Mr. J.
by these restrictions to build their armies. They don't need to take guardsmen and whatever other things they soup in to get extra command points, which gives a lot of people a lot more flexibility when building armies. But what do you guys think?
Well, my biggest fear is the death of troops.
Yeah.
Imperial Guard, actually.
Like,
That's
all-
my... yeah.
And even with like some of the new stuff, like they leaked a few of the demon stuff, and they've got the exalted greater demons now. But all it is spending command points to buff up a big guy to be even bigger. Meanwhile, they're saying that they're bringing out this thing where you all get the same amount of command points. Well, what's the point of people taking guardsmen anymore? Just take a super heavy detachment
just
or
take
whatever.
tanks or-
Just take tanks.
yeah,
What's the point
and
of the guard
artillery.
being irrelevant?
Yeah.
Oh, but
I
they can
think-
screen. But they don't need the screening anymore because they can shoot in close combat now.
Yeah, well, I still think screening is going to be important, especially if what they're saying about combat being better is going to be true. I think screening is going to become more like at the beginning of 9th or of 8th. 8th?
At 8.5.
Yeah, at the beginning of 8th when you saw a lot of screening units and stuff. I think that's going to happen.
Even now, I find armies that I struggle with, which I still enjoy, like my Harlequins, they struggle when I face certain things because I can't afford a screen.
Yeah, because your troops are
Really expensive.
yeah, and I think it's a blessing for especially Custodes, man.
Yeah, but then like people like Orcs and Guard and even Genestealer Cult are going to lose out because they build up such a bulk of infantry of troops.
Well, I mean, Orc boys are still Orc boys.
No,
Yeah.
there's still 30
Yeah.
boys are still hard to face.
Yeah.
And it's same
And
with
Yeah,
100
but
guys,
when
man.
you
And I
got-
think the missions will dictate as well. Like, we know there's already missions in the latest chapter approved where, like, you need troops to take, like, you cannot, like, elites can't take this, fast attacks can't take this. It has to be troops.
Yeah. And so if you don't bring any troops,
Yeah.
you are
For example, if you need, like, table quarters, maybe,
Yeah.
you can't do it if you don't have troops.
yeah,
Because troops will, like, intercede, right? Or they will have, what's the rule?
upset.
OBSEC for mission types and mission objectives.
So that's
There's
yeah. Sorry.
And the other thing I was thinking, sorry. The other one I was wondering is if they're going to have, like, the core of your army has to be a brigade, and then anything else is on top of that.
Yeah, but then if it's a brigade, I mean, I've never run a brigade because that's actually quite a. That's now the flip tax.
Sorry, battalion, not a brigade.
Battalion.
Yeah, the 3 troops.
Yeah,
three
right,
troops.
right. I was going to say brigade is a force tax on all the other
Yeah, no,
stuff.
that's
now.
That would
Yeah,
be similar to like some of the really old 40Ks where you needed to bring 1 HQ and 3 troops, and then everything else is pretty much for a game after that point. But anyway, you were saying?
Oh, I was just thinking just with, because I'm just strictly an Astra Militarum player. It's like, I'm not saying that like Imperial Guard is like its only strength is heaps of CP points, but it is its jam. It's like it's quite nice having like being sport for trust, be like I've got so many CP.
I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this.
Usually the game's over and I've still got a couple left, and I'm not sure if that's because I've been playing like fluffily, and I should be playing more
reserved,
superly.
yeah.
Is that a word, superly?
We can take
Anyway,
it.
yeah. We'll crop it out. But you know what I mean? Like, do we get more? Do we still get that little thing where we can roll to see if we get an extra CP?
Well, we
Because-
know that there is a phase where you can
Yeah.
generate command points.
Which is
now.
what I'm
so
hoping.
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that using detachments give you a regenerative ability for your CP. So you can build an army of whatever the hell you want, don't stick to any particular format.
Yeah.
But when you spend command points, you spend them, they're gone.
Well, maybe it's
But
like
if you
Miracle
stick,
Days.
if you stick to the
Maybe. We don't know. Battalion
You
still
roll
exists.
and the more troops you have, the better your roll to get command points back or something.
Battalion
I mean,
still
we
exists,
just don't know.
but we don't know what they do yet.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
they could incur different benefits. Another thing is, there's been a lot of talk about how soup is going to be done in 9th edition, and we've got some clarification, which is you're going to need to spend CP to bring detachments from
be
other
soupy.
codexes.
I love it so much.
So this is great because that means if you love the soup, which I know a lot of people do, and people can't give you crap about it anymore because
'cause you
you're
bought
spending
it.
something to do
Yeah,
it.
you paid the price for
But
it.
you
pay the
say
price.
you're paying to get them from outside of the codexes, right?
Yeah.
So you're still going to see the internal soup like Catachan, Cadian.
Yeah, if anything within
Yeah,
a
yeah,
single
yeah.
codex is still
Single codex
it's
is
not
single
going to
codex,
cost
yeah.
anything. Which,
But it's the same thing. You can't share rules.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like your chapter master for salamanders can't
Yeah.
give rerolls to your troops from
Yeah.
Raven.
This
Guard,
comment's
whatever,
I
you
can only shoot the Cadians.
Yeah,
He's racist and doesn't like Catachans. I'm not going to shoot you.
you run.
yeah. Okay, yes.
know? Yeah.
which is really cool. This other thing I heard, which isn't confirmed, it's because there's going to be like 3 or 4 different levels of points. The lowest one being at 500 points, and I've heard rumors that the CP you get from the start is going to be 1 CP per 100 points. So at the 2,000 point games, you start
20,
with 20
that's-
CP.
The things you could do for 20
That's
CP.
the thing, but there's going, but
But I
it's
guess
all
if it's even across the board and
with
everyone
both
has
players.
20.
Both players has
I
it.
guess when you come to pay for your reserves and
Yeah.
you have reinforcements and stuff like that,
Yeah.
that 20 will deplete very quickly.
This.
I mean, I know that when I'm playing Space Marines, like, even back in the day, I'd be burning like 7 before the game even started,
Yeah.
right?
And the new Harlequin Codex, they got all these upgrades for all the characters and to make them all unique and all different.
Yeah.
And
And I mean, I know we're going to talk about it soon, but the new demons, pre-game stratagem, you can have
yeah, exactly.
9, how many different, there are, 3 different flavors of Greater Demon?
Yeah.
Or Greater Demon of Khorne, even, so you could have 9 of them, each one of them being exalted, because it's a
I
pre-game
think you can only
stratagem.
exalt one.
I can't.
I think it's a pre-game strat, man. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I
just
think
keep
you can
burning.
only pick one Bloodthirster and exalt him.
I
Like
can't
it's like you
remember.
can't have like 15 chapter masters. You know what I mean?
But we'll come to that.
We'll come to
Okay, the next biggest change to the game, which is going to affect us all, is terrain. Rules we all know suck because they just have.
They're just ineffective, right?
We just ignore terrain basically, unless you're in it or you're either in it or you're not in it.
There are ruins and there are not ruins. That's
Exactly,
it.
that's it. And you can shoot through 5 buildings 3 windows, 2 doorways.
And your tank's alive or it's gone
Yeah.
as well. When it gets knocked out, it just disappears.
And wolves can't go upstairs.
Okay, then.
Yeah, so things that they're overhauling with terrain is they're adding keywords to them. The only ones that we've been told about is obscure, which means, we don't know how exactly it's going to work, but somehow this terrain piece is going to obscure targets on your side. So no longer will it be a true line of sight, the rules are going to be more abstract. We've also been told about...
We're assuming that's modifiers, right?
No,
Well, obscured, I think it's just...
I honestly believe obscure would mean...
Oh, you mean
blocks-
line of, like
blocks,
first
line of
level
sight.
line of sight?
I don't even first. I think obscure could be the whole building.
Yeah.
Because if you look at a lot of the new models that come out, The Exorcist, this Saint Catherine, a lot of these
It's
new
going to
Necro
make
ones.
line of sight ignoring stuff so
There's-
much. I mean, it's already so important.
It's not the
but
whole
like-
thing
They
of
are,
like.
but even more important.
Yeah, like
I can see that.
critical.
No.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess
There's
no,
SMS in there.
you might
like,
have actually a valid point there. Like,
Yeah.
let's say it's a square, just for example, it's a square building. Like, I can't see through it, fine. It maybe have windows and stuff like that, which I like. But
Yeah.
if something's on the side of that building,
Yeah.
how far obscured?
And this is where we get into, am I 50%? Am I 25%?
This is-
Yeah.
Am I...
If you've got a building here and you've got a lumbering behemoth behind it, is he obscured by being behind that?
But the thing is,
building,
we don't
or
know.
You can see.
Yeah.
We do not
We'll see
know.
what
All
they
we
do
know
with
is
it.
that somehow obscure blocks line of sight. We don't know if it's the first floor, the whole ruin, how exactly it's going to work, 50%, more than 50%, less than 50%, drawing line of sight from the center of the model to the other center of the model. There's lots of ways they can do it.
Yeah.
Either way, it's cool. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool that they're bringing back this training.
Well, it means
I'm
like
happy about
Scribbly's
Thanks,
like
GW.
like Kroot and stuff like that now have an opportunity to actually move around the board. Like your Kroot and your low level troops that die to a stiff breeze will be able to now get around without being shot from the other side of the board by someone with a 120-inch
Yeah.
There's
And hopefully new terrain rules will encourage people to play with more terrain as well.
yeah, and different terrain.
Because I love a chock-a-block board.
And the different they've been mention of rules for things such as ruins, buildings, bunkers, swamps. So things like bunkers, can you imagine you can only troops may occupy these buildings or only infantry? Mm-hmm. And it's going to be like the magic box from LVO.
What are the they make a kit, right? The bunker kit, the
yeah.
wall of mudders or stuff.
Yeah,
like you can
yeah.
mention that.
Yeah.
Being kind of like specialist terrain for having some rules or something.
Well, the thing is, there's new terrain for a lot of the new armies. Like Sisters have a piece of terrain.
You know,
Eldar
Necrons have something coming.
Elder have a piece of terrain. Necrons coming.
They have
out with
those
something.
like
I think
sex toy
Chaos
looking
have something.
things.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
the
they
big,
have the knockoff
inverted
crown,
circle
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And I think all these things are going to be more valuable come this edition.
Well, I think a lot of these things are basically like the equivalent of having a Tau shield wall. There's something you pay for
Well,
to
tide
bring
walls,
in.
yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a. I don't think it's per se a piece of terrain that you put on the board. It's something that you pay for.
Yeah.
And you deploy with your arm.
Well, yeah.
I've always
the
liked
Sisters
the
one is-
idea of that. The you can buy like the shields and stuff to put in front of your army and stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem is they've never really been worth doing.
Okay.
No, but now it might be.
But then the other thing about this terrain going forward is that they're having these set kind of templates of how a board should be set up.
Yeah.
So you talk about your really densely clustered, which I love as well, having proper city fights.
Natural
Well,
city.
now it's not necessarily going to be a thing because GW will be like, well, with over a
that's right.
three-quartered board, you needed,
If you're playing this
blah, blah,
size,
blah,
you
blah.
should have this much terrain.
Well, yeah, that's what
Five
that's
large and 3 small.
Well,
Yeah.
GW has talked about that. They said they're going to show you an example of what the terrain should be,
Ooh.
and this
Yeah.
is what the game is balanced around. So
And again, it's not like it's optional, right? Unless
Yeah.
you're playing competitively.
It is optional in the way that if you're playing with your mates at home, then you do what the hell you want.
Exactly.
But listening to some of the pre-testers' commentary, it sounds like it's actually going to be in the rules. The same way that you set up, what side of the board or what direction you're coming from, it's going to fall under that kind of line.
I mean, if you're Talon, you're just playing in the desert, so it's just sand.
I was watching
I don't like it.
Essien Battle Report the other day.
Yeah.
I freaking love Essien Battle Report. But he's literally just like dumped a bunch of sand on the table, and he's got like dudes like driving over and stuff. It's beautiful. I fucking love it. It's such a
magical.
champ.
Another interesting thing which I like is larger units like Carnifexes will be able to fight upstairs.
Finally.
They're not
Does
gonna
that
be-
mean my
But not your
wolves can
wolves,
go?
not your wolves. Your wolves aren't
I don't
going
know.
to
They
Your
only gave,
wolves can't reach.
they only gave a Carnifex as
Yeah.
an example, which is a particularly tall creature. I'm not sure how tall your wolves are.
Which will be, it'll be like, so you can't get your big monster onto their second floor, but,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, well, knights, right? The thing was always like the knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy who's at chainsword height and you
Yeah.
can't hit
Do they
him
ever
'cause he's
have?
not
Do
by
you
his
guys ever
toes.
have bikes going upstairs as well?
No,
Some rough
but
riders.
7th edition is good.
Right.
I can't remember.
I
played
know-
all
I
the
know your
7th
beast
I don't think I
cavalry
could
could.
do. I don't think my bikes could.
Your
I don't
beast
think my
cavalry
scars
could.
Yeah, my wolves could.
Yeah.
Classic. Nice.
So I'm looking forward to these terrain changes because they by far was the worst thing in 8th
Just
edition.
disappointing, eh?
Yeah, well, yeah, it was, yeah. And they mentioned that the terrain and the rules and the missions are going to become like a third player, so these are going to influence your armies and stuff.
Do you think this is? This has got to be them taking kind of a leaf from ITC, right?
Yes,
And them.
because they did it better.
Yeah. And I wonder. I know, like they've kind of ITC have been saying like we're not feeling like we're being replaced or anything. Like
No.
we're on board with this. Like all
Yeah.
we want is the best rules possible. And if GW are making the best rules possible, and those are
Yeah.
the rules they're going to use.
Well, I think they took a lot of input from them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they wait for these tournaments before they release the FAQs and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. They listen to them.
yeah. Next thing is core rule changes. This one I've been asking for a long time. I don't know why they didn't do it from the start. Was everything hits on the 6?
Yeah. 6 is hit.
6 is hit. You can't.
Everyone's
you
orcs,
can't.
baby.
You can't. Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's no way you can make someone not able to shoot. And modifiers are locked to +1 and -1.
It's
But
so good.
this one I feel like needs a little clarification.
No.
A little bit.
Yeah.
For me, it needs a little clarification. Because if a person with heavy weapons moves, right?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
-1.
okay.
And then somebody else is.
So do your own modifiers
Yeah.
affect your enemy's modifiers, right? That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or does a moving tank with no suspension?
I don't know,
always
man.
shoot
I feel.
aircraft?
Well, yeah.
Or
So-
like the ghost kill. The ghost kill's a native -1 to hit, and then its drones give it another -1 to hit. So it's two different units conferring a bonus, right? So they're going to be about
You assume
-1.
those
Yeah.
the rules for
Move
those
down to
drones are
-1.
going to change.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how that all works.
It's I think it's really good.
I think
I think it's really, really, really.
And this is
good.
coming from an Elder and Harlequin player.
Yeah.
And I can tell you as a Harlequin player, is like, I don't know how my army's going to live. The lightning fast reaction was pretty much my go-to thing.
Yeah.
The what you call it? The second awakening has given it new things. I don't feel it's enough to keep them alive without lightning fast, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm not going to complain because it is healthy for the game. Because I remember going to some tournaments where my opponent couldn't shoot my Eldar, and it was a tournament setting, so I was like, "Screw you."
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
I feel bad.
Yeah.
Do it.
Not gonna do it,
The
but-
Hemlock Wraithfighter going, casting the spell,
Exactly.
moving fast, and just having a nade. It was like -3 by the end of it.
-3, and then there was one tournament where they gave us on certain tables an extra -1, which utterly broke. Marines couldn't shoot me. I was like, sorry, but no.
So suddenly Cadian child soldiers are an option.
Exactly.
They suddenly have great ballistic skills. I'm 8. Pew! Still hitting on 6s.
But overall, this is a good thing. I don't think there was many things that conferred more than 1+ to hit, besides the Necrons.
Yeah, I don't think there was a +2. I don't think
I think
can't
Necrons
there was
had
+2.
My Will Be Done and maybe His Strength.
My will be done giving you a +1,
My
and
will
then
be
there was
done.
the stratagem that gave you +1.
Yeah, exactly.
Your whole army
On Earth,
+1
as
to
I
hit
said.
on unit.
But anyway, that's not here or there. I mean, the really, it's not positives were never the problem. It was the
Yeah.
negative to hit.
I'm still
modifiers.
hanging out for plasma rules though.
What? Just an unmodified
Gets
roll
hot.
one.
Unmodified one gets hot. Yeah.
But with this change, do you think it matters as much?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I love my plasma.
Yeah. Don't kill. I don't want to drop it.
That's
I
always
personally
what you
think-
spend your CP on, though. It's like you roll it and you get a 1, and you're like, oh, that guy's going to die.
And then you roll one and he dies.
For me, this is not here. This is not here. This is not the discussion for now. But I still think plasma is too good. Plasma is like the go-to thing.
Yeah. Really? You think plasma's too good?
Yeah, because why would you take Melter when plasma does it better?
Well, I just think plasma
Space
Melter
lava.
should be. Well, I don't know. I think Melter's still pretty good. It's just so situational.
It's too situational, whereas plasma is more versatile.
And we know that there's probably something happening with D6s, right?
Yeah, true.
I think, and especially because those Melter aggressors are coming out.
So when
I think some Melter rules are going to change.
I stopped using melters in
now
my
we're going to say
army.
why.
Because
we're trying
Because
to be
Marines are going to start it.
Like,
There are going to be
rapid fire.
Primaris Melters, so you know Melters are going to get better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Blast is going to be added to some existing weapons.
Sorry?
So,
Blast?
Blast. A new...
Blast templates. We can no longer use the
No,
so this is
Yeah, this is new. This is not what I was expecting.
No, but I wasn't expecting templates to come back. Anyone who said templates was going to come back.
No,
It's
that's
Alan and Kit. If I put it here.
Everything in this 5-story building.
Yeah.
Oh,
There was bad days.
I really thought they were gonna do like D3 becomes 3, D6 becomes 6.
Well, I think that's still going to happen. You just get your max hit when the unit's over a certain size.
But you have to have the blast keyword, right? So if
Yeah.
your plasma cannon doesn't have the blast keyword, it's still just D3.
Yeah, because I think it's if you shoot like a frag missile into a horde,
Yeah.
everyone's getting hit.
Yeah.
That's the idea, and it makes sense because
And I would like to see
Hunter-killer
more missile launchers because they're beautiful.
I have to ask though, were hordes such a problem?
no, but
So
they
how come there's so many rules coming out that are anti-horde?
but they might become a problem because
Because there will be a problem.
Because
Because
combat's
They're gonna be
becoming
a
more effective.
Yes.
Apparently.
And
And it could become more of an issue now.
yes,
Yeah.
and there's apparently going to be stratagems specifically for hordes, like like a what you call it, universal stratagems for hordes.
Tasty.
So well, I mean, this is
I love hordes.
keep in mind, guys. This is
I love hordes.
nothing's
Pretty
official
obvious.
yet, so this is still coming from game designers, word of mouth, and research down on the internet. So things could change. But as far as I've read so far, that's what they're saying. There's going to be universal stratagems for close combat, which makes it better, and also for hordes. Which,
Fixed bayonets.
the hordes one has me interested in a big way because
Yeah.
I don't really understand how it's going to work.
I-
Maybe it's a morale thing. Hordes.
Well, morale's getting an overhaul. I mean, we're getting
But that's
into
for later.
ourselves.
Yeah, morale is going to be more impactful. I don't know what that means. But,
I'm really not sure how I feel about this.
yeah.
I kind of like that morale is like ineffective and just like basically ignored by everybody because it's a pain, man.
I don't. I want to because every time I try to build because I've done it for fun. I try to build a list.
Yeah.
To play with morale, but then there's like 2 CP and it ignores it. I'm like, yay!
Yeah, or even you just like it's more efficient to shoot better than it is to like I do this and
Yeah,
this and
exactly.
this and this and this and this and this and it takes so much work and then this
To make
unit,
one
like
guy
an
run
extra,
away.
a couple of guys run away. Fuck
Yeah.
yeah. Or I could just shoot him.
Yeah.
Like it's it's
Shooting is better.
The amount of construction you need to get into a list that manipulates morale
Exactly.
versus a
But
list
there-
that just shoots everything off.
The worry I have is that in the fluff there are so much Necrons, for example.
Yeah.
Like
They should
Ultramarines, like these guys who are supposed to have like basically
Fearless.
endless, are supposed to be fearless.
Even orcs.
How is that? Is that going to make those
Marines
these
aren't
new?
fearless. They just have been brought up to not to react to it as much as a normal person.
I
but they
think-
still can feel it.
No, they
still
they
have
can
to.
still feel it, but in 8th edition,
What concern?
just the mechanics. They're mildly paternal.
No
That was
concern.
that was mildly horrific.
In 8th edition, there's some units that just by the nature of their high leadership, by the time they're gonna be affected, they're dead. It's
Yeah. Or how warlord traits, immortal pride.
yeah.
I mean, how does that?
Thing
Mob
I-
rule.
The thing I was thinking was the guys that you sold, all those Tyranids that you sold
Yeah.
to our mate Adam.
Yes.
Nice guy.
Hello.
Nice guy.
Miss
He's
you.
probably not watching. It's fine.
He expects us to watch
but
this
like,
channel.
yeah, he's got like his well, link below. No. But like his massive Tyranid horde, I was just thinking about that now. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, like that might become. You're talking about hordes and new specialties.
Mm.
The
So-
basic bitch. Can I say basic bitch?
Yeah.
I just did. Basic bitch nids will suddenly become like these like actually quite
That would
fearless.
because they used to be my army, and the thing that hurt me the most that they weren't good at was the Homogons, the close combat little scribbly guys.
Yeah.
They just weren't. They were just crap.
Ineffective. Yeah.
Totally ineffective.
Not just ineffective, but ineffective even as a screening unit because they
Yeah.
were so easy to clear.
You're better off taking the one with the gun, which was cheaper because
Yeah.
it did more.
Yeah.
But that's not here or there. Overwatch and Falling Back both see changes. So,
So do you think everyone's going to be Ultramarines?
no, I think.
All back and shoot on a -1.
Which
No.
again, capped modifiers, is it that big of a cost?
I don't see that coming back because I think
Do you
that.
think shooting into close combat?
But they're saying there's going to be close combat's going to be falling back's going to be different. So I could imagine there was old editions where if you fell back from combat, the army that is or the units that are in combat with you get the strike for free.
See that would
And
be
that does
good.
correlate
I,
with the combat thing.
I would like that. I would like that whole. If you fall back, I
You
get
get
a
an
free
attack.
strike. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like with Imperial Guard, if you've got if you use that stratagem, the order, get back in the fight, they can pull back, and then they can, if they're within, which they would, be within rapid fire range. If my squad, which usually it's not, to say if it's recruits, for example, when they get back in the fight, and there's 60 of them, you've wiped out 30 of them, half of them statistically, and you give them the order to get back in the fight, they can suddenly turn around and just eviscerate. I mean, imagine that in real life, these guys running away, showing their backs to you, being like...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because in real combat, that's what they
And
say.
then they turn around,
As soon as you turn, you're done. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as you run, you're done.
Yeah. But keep in mind, this is speculation because
we
know there's changes, but we don't know what the changes
shit.
are. Overwatch 1 could be you can only get Overwatch once, opposed to you can just keep doing it. That could be an option.
I'd be okay with that. Everyone becomes.
I'm
like,
not okay with that.
Or there's one, or the other option is, you know, how many times have we had flamers, but it's just because the unit deep strike is just out of range? How about flamers can now hit? Because you're gonna get close.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to
Charging,
flamers.
you'll get
Flamers definitely need a buff. They're meant to be that anti-charge kind of thing, but they're only 8 inches.
They didn't
Yeah,
seem
well,
like the
we
points
assume they're
worth
going to
it.
become like blast, right?
I have no idea.
Oh no, on the last template thing, yeah.
No. I don't think they're gonna get
I don't
blast
think I think I'm going to give me heavy guns.
because they hit automatically anyways, which is.
I
Still
don't see flamers going max 6 every time they shoot into a hawk, because then they become wild.
So they will have to blast.
Could you imagine though, Tau battle suits just dropping down trip flamers 6,
Yeah, it's
12,
beautiful.
18.
It's gorgeous.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I could field 2 flamers in one squad. Like that's quite a lot. Like if I'm
On
like,
top of
fielding
12 guaranteed hits.
Yeah.
That's not.
So maybe they will be the
And,
template thing.
and all that does though, something like that
One
is
person.
then reduces my desire or people's desire to want to take troops. Why would I want to take a horde of troops when they're just getting smashed left, right, and centre? Flamers getting max 6.
I think
Big guns
I'm
getting max 6.
assuming I feel like because of how much work GW did in the previous edition, or the current edition, in making troops like
important.
prominent on the board again, I feel like OBSEC's going to become a more. I think the rule. I don't know if the rule will change, but I feel like that rule will become more important in terms of building a list.
Maybe.
But
Well, I hope so.
I hope troops still have a place that. I mean, I can understand people want to bring crazy lists, because I have crazy lists, but the thing is I end up with like 3 CP to run it, and it's not combat effective.
Crazy list. Oh, I've eviscerated your army in turn 1.
Oh, I'm just going to have
so crazy.
a couple of these fire prisms hiding behind buildings. It's a fucking crazy list.
It's crazy.
You won't believe it.
You're laughing, but you're the same.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to try this really fluffy list. It's a nuclear list that lets me reroll everything, and then everything around it is a heavy weapon.
And I win. That's the crazy thing. I win.
The crazy thing is that.
But it's fluffy, guys. It's fluffy. Yeah, I'm just bringing these Wraith Knights, but it's fluffy.
Hey, Wraith Knights at 8, they're better than people say they are.
I
They're not as good as
them,
they want them to be.
Yeah.
Because I've taken it to tournament, and it has towed up. It's been good.
It's no joke.
Strategic reserves.
Competitive players?
Why are we sitting away from each other?
Yin and yang.
You're on the edge.
Yeah.
Well, it's more
Just
competitive
leave it
if
alone.
we separate you. That's all.
Divine.
Strategic reserves. CP will be spent on things
Scorpion.
like putting units in the reserve. And outflanking. Outflanking, which is like older score. We used to be able to do it back in the older editions.
Yeah.
With any unit. So this is not like you need some special rule to do it. This, you spend CP, this unit gets to outflank. And apparently as the game progresses, you get to outflank closer to the enemy. So the later they come in, the closer they get to be. So
You mean like closer as in like down the board, or closer as in distance away?
I don't know.
Question, right? Is that table quarters or is it literal inches?
That would be
Turn
really cool.
Turn 3, are you deep striking 6 inches away?
No, not deep striking. I don't think everything should be able to deep strike.
No, this
Well,
is
you outflanking
Deep strike,
6
deep
inches
strike
away.
thing should be
You
deep
then
strike, but
turn
outflank-
later 4 inches away. Turn later 3. Oh,
No. That's no. What I think would be cool though is you start the first turn, then you can outflank them, but it's only like in your quarter of the
Your
board.
deployment.
Second turn is a
okay.
little bit further down. You can come from the sides on. Third turn, you come in a bit further down the board now. So you can eventually, on the final turn, you can potentially come from the back.
See, I still think that's a problem because outflanking is essentially like it's the easiest thing in the world to counter.
But see, that's
It's not a threat.
see your thing is moot if the 9 inches thing still exists.
Yeah.
Oh, it depends what you're outflanking. If you're outflanking heavy weapons like gunnery stuff, okay, if I wait 3 turns, boom, I'm in the back. Hey, look, I'm behind your commander. I'm behind your mobile artillery platform.
But again, you just
screen them out.
Yeah, you just screen them out.
And another thing is, guns don't need help. Close combat need army help. Needs help. So the way I want to see it is that if you outflank turn 2, I don't know if they're going to
do 2 9 inches.
9 inches. Turn 3 6 inches.
7 inches.
Or 6 inches.
Oh, so they move.
See, that's the way I want to see it.
So you can get closer.
I thought they were closer.
No, so you can peer closer.
Yeah, there I am. Hello. So does that mean that you guys? I picture way too much shit in my head. I'm just picturing like a bunch of 60 recruit Imperial Guardsmen doing stretches, just warming up. You ready to get real close? Yeah. I think we'll wait for a little bit longer. We're closer.
It's not
Marines doing stretches like. It's like when you watch the crews. It's like when you watch rugby players on the side that they haven't got the number up yet. They're just doing runs.
Yeah. See, because I think that would help close combat armies, because the idea is meant to help close combat armies and armies with close to mid-range shooting.
Yeah, and I like it. Like I would. I'd be.
It's gonna help, but again, it's so easy to competitive to game.
Well, it's harder to screen if your screening distance gets shorter, right?
But it doesn't matter. You just put sacrificial troops on the flanks.
Yeah,
a small squad or something. I don't care.
The troops do have a point.
Well, it depends if you have something cheap to chuck there.
Yeah, if you've got a couple of like cheeky Kabalites or whatever.
Child the thing is, if you know you got troops and you want to come in on that flank, you clear out that screen and
exactly, so and then it becomes like I got to clear your screening out so I can get my boys in.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's like with all this as well, just these little additions. I'm really excited as well because it's like I really liked 8th edition how still fairly fluid it was. I still always ask Alan or anyone else what I should be doing because I'm not a great gamer, but like it's a lot more fluid than 7th.
Yeah.
So even though this additional stuff's coming out, it's going to be interesting to see how fluid it's going to be on the board.
Well,
but I'm kind of excited that it's going to be easy to play.
I mean,
so I was like, ooh, okay.
I mean, they always say that, but they have kind of. I mean, I think we forget like how much they delivered in 8th about how easy it is to play.
Yeah.
Because like the jump was like bonkers.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I don't know how big the tournament scene was in 7th because I obviously only really got into it in 7th. But 8, I feel like there's so much more tournament centric.
I think the problem with 7th was with 7th and all the older editions is you got lists, and because GW never changed the rules, these lists they did change the rules every now and again, but these lists were the list.
Decurion was the shit, and then the Death Stars were the shit, and then so you always knew
the same thing. So you brought your broken ass shit against their broken ass shit, and whose broken ass shit did better.
Yeah, it was pretty much like foregone conclusion, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And you couldn't bring anything less than that because if you ever had anything less than that at that tournament, you would get stomped.
Yeah.
But and 8th, don't get me wrong, there are still things which are broken, but things get fixed. So which I'm happy about.
It takes some time, but they get there.
This is just bits and bobs now. Rule books. So Codex. All our books and things will still be valid, but apparently the best of PA content will be transferred. So the best of Psychic Awakening will be transferred over to the new codexes, but not everything. And so I honestly believe that once the new codexes come out, that everything else before them is going to be invalidated.
Yeah.
And I want that to happen. Let me be that clear. I want that to happen because I am tired of carrying 8 books to the to tournaments.
I feel like this is probably a discussion for another day.
Yeah.
But I am worried about, especially as they widen the kind of maybe it's not necessarily like a broadening of the audience, but a wider audience for 40k. Like we know the game's growing. People who aren't like accustomed to the way that GW kind of does things are coming into the game, and the kind of regular stunts maybe that GW pulls, I don't know if that's going to fly with a broader audience. The invalidating of books, the constant like, oh, my thing's bullshit now, I need to get the next thing, or this thing. I don't. All this, the wider the audience get, the less of that I think that wider audience is going to pick up on. So there's no point growing the game unless GW grows.
I think I'm about as wide as I can get though. I'm quite
I'm working on it.
And that comes back to this whole promise of digital codexes.
Yeah.
If we're going to start running into that digital codex, hey, we've got the app, the app that does all this, we've got the digital codexes, and hopefully it means that when they do make these changes, it just cycles.
I'm surprised that people aren't talking. That is like a huge deal to me.
It is.
Like that is the single most important thing.
It is for me
coming out of this edition.
If they only did that this edition, I would be happy.
In saying that, didn't they say at this top of 8th edition, we're going to be doing a battle scribe style thing like what we did with Sigma? They did at the start, saying, hey, we're going to do a list builder, just like what we did with Sigma. And then
didn't they kind of do something with power levels and stuff?
Not really. They just never came.
See, that
to the
would
best of
ruin
my
it.
knowledge, they didn't come through with it.
If the new thing comes out, it's only power levels. It's dead.
Although they did say they're going to try and make like more accurate and more reflective power levels.
If it's power levels, going to take this. I think power levels is too hard to balance because there's
too many options.
You
right?
can't fine tune it enough.
Yeah,
there is a difference between a 12-point model and an 11-point model for some things, but. And that doesn't translate in power levels.
Speaking of fine tuning, is that saying the physical codexes that you buy, as in like the books? Because I don't think that's going to be the case, right? Like, I mean, if anybody is listening, with the Imperial Guard, the Astra Militarum Codex, so much of that was like, if you want to scribble out. Yeah. You know, I was scribbling out a lot.
The Space Force book, I had to print out a page and stick it.
Because it was missing.
The saga. They just weren't there.
You can't. That's not okay. Like that's really not okay.
For the
what I mean by
sisters,
codex will be digital.
Yeah. I mean,
and the Sisters of Battle, there's the Canoness, which is pretty much the penultimate HQ unit. They changed the total loadouts for it, and it just makes no sense anymore. It's my brain melts when I try to hit it up properly.
I mean, there's some serious like quality control and editing that needs to be going on in that department.
Seriously. And the last and most important thing, Astartes chainswords are actually going to be minus 180. Of course they are. And just listen, if something comes out Primaris,
it's going to be better. It's going to have a better AP.
It's going to have a better AP. That's it. That's what you're going to get. It's plasma, better AP. Our plasma is better than the old plasma because it just has to be a little bit better than the last thing before it.
That goes back to my thing, though, doesn't it? Because it makes sense, right? Because previously with your Primus Marines and my Imperial Guardsmen,
with
their plasma gun thing, like, you know, comparatively size-wise, the Imperial Guardsman was like, but you guys like a little derringer. It's coming back to that whole thing. It would be more naturally more strong though, right?
Yeah.
Because it is bigger.
It's the same size. Yeah. A plasma gun on a guy is a pistol on a Marine.
Yeah. So is that the kind of thing that they're getting to?
I guess so.
This is better.
This is a bigger chainsword than that guy's chainsword.
Yeah.
So although are they bigger than the Marine chainswords? No.
Maybe.
It's hard to say.
Just an inch.
Maybe.
Will they bring out chain spears?
But I mean,
Chain
bigger
arrows.
Don't rule it out.
I mean, you don't know.
Chain shields,
Yeah. I don't see why.
chains.
I don't know why bigger means more AP. It doesn't really.
Because they're bigger.
The weight of it, I don't know.
Yeah.
The swing impact.
Wouldn't that be strength? I don't know. That's semantics.
But
Yeah.
Well, strength in a chainsword probably doesn't matter that much because hitting someone really hard with a spinning blade versus, you know, a chainsword. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
What's
the
the pressure
strike
behind
isn't
it,
going to mean
right?
fuck all, right? The strike is just going to be like,
It's the
but it's a
push
blade.
after
But,
this.
but it's like, you think about it like a power sword is a sharp edge. Like, the force behind that strike is going to matter.
Yeah.
But a chain's a flat edge that spins around, right? Yeah. So the first strike's not going to mean shit. So strength really isn't the thing.
It's
I guess it's the size comparison thing, though, right? Because it's kind of like the whole thing. It's like when you watch.
Talking about
The chainsword still, the bigger chainsword.
Well, no, I mean,
I mean, if we just look at the notes here, I think the thing was, are Primaris' swords bigger than Classic Marine swords, and do Marines even need to have swords?
yes, Marines need swords.
Yes, Marines
Yeah,
apparently
Marines
need
need
swords
swords,
now.
apparently.
Because they're knights in space. That's the idea.
But they're all born from test tubes,
Yeah.
so
And we didn't
they don't
mention-
need swords.
We didn't mention last time the veteran guys mastercrafted swords as well.
Yes.
So they're 2 damage on a pop.
Yeah. Right. I didn't see that, but I believe you.
It's comparatively like watching like you look at I don't know, a bear and the bear cub, right? Bear cub's like your average size human.
Yeah.
And you watch it take a swipe and it's like swish. It looks really sharp and swift.
And you're
But
like,
then you watch
"Ooh."
the mama bear or the daddy bear go, "Ah," and it looks slow motion, but it's actually got a whole fucking lot
The
of
force
damage
behind
behind
it,
it.
yeah. It's
So
like,
it's-
the big, what is it, the kaiju or whatever, like, they look like they're moving slow, but,
I was going to bring up Revenant.
That bear is fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bears
that bear
are
is
real
not
fast.
messing around.
That's an Astrates bear.
AP -1. But the thing is,
6 plus armor save failed.
you're eventually going to get the whole Space Marine old stuff new with +1 extra AP.
Yeah,
that's what you're gonna get.
they're just going to replace everything.
Yeah, it's a missile launcher with extra -1 AP.
Oh yeah, the bike's probably -1 AP.
Yeah, on the weapons. Sure.
On the
Yeah,
bike.
Yeah, on the bolters.
The bike just hits people and it's minus
right.
Suddenly leaving rust tankers and something like, do you hear that?
Anyways, we've had a lot coming out in the last week.
So much
Psychic
stuff.
Awakening Engine
My
Wars
God.
coming out this week. at
We
some
have
point.
new Mechanicum units. We have huge new Mechanicum rules that I
Yes.
think make them incredibly relevant to game.
I'm kind of salty as an LR player. But then there's also lots of Imperial Knights, Chaos Knights, and Demons as well.
Everything.
It's a huge book.
It's
There's so much stuff in it.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Except for the demon stuff. There's actually not a lot of demon stuff in there.
But there's some good stuff.
There's some good stuff.
The demon
but
stuff's good, but it's small.
But it's not enough. What we're going to do is, there's been a lot of stuff that's, pretty much the whole thing's been leaked. But,
Someone's obviously got like an advanced copy and just got.
yeah, and
I think maybe we should just go over some of the highlights, right?
We're-
Because there's too much for us to
well,
cover.
we're
Camera.
just going to highlight Khorne from this.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
Their first album.
just for you.
yeah. So, now you can make your what are they called? Big demons?
Bloodthirsters.
No, not bloodthirsters. I mean
Greater demons.
Greater
Demons.
demons. The greater demons can become exalted, which means you can give them a warlord trait. So they need to be the warlord of your army to get this. So
No.
Well, to
Yeah.
get,
Oh,
no,
the warlord
to get the
trait.
warlord.
Warlord
trait,
trait, warlord
yeah,
trait.
yeah.
and then you can also get a relic on top of that for them. So yes, it makes your greater demons better, but that's pretty much one of the few things that's happening with them.
But, I mean, Great Demons definitely did.
And
that.
this is leading into the thing that I'm worried about is that they're making the big guys bigger and badder, but I feel like they're detracting from the little guys.
so it's Hero Hammer.
So it's, yeah, basically that. It's coming down to it's the battle of characters and heroes.
I don't
I don't know.
know.
I can't see that. I don't know.
We'll see. I mean,
Yeah,
we'll know
I mean,
really
we don't
quick
know.
if it's going to happen. But I mean,
I hope
Can't
not.
be happening.
I don't
hope
know
not.
because
But that's what it feels like. Like, yeah, there's some cool strats that came out
They
with
did so much work
with the
this
demons,
edition
but-
making troops more relevant. I'd be so disappointed.
yeah, but then they're just powered up.
But they've
all
done
the
other things where they tried to
characters.
make sure first round combat didn't happen, and they turned they 180
Yeah,
on it.
and they decided.
You have Children of the Corn. What's the go? Like, is it blowing wind up your skirt?
All right.
Look, there's some really cool stuff in there.
So we'll talk. I'll quickly read out.
Alan, the corn player, will tell you all about
Yes.
it.
Well, I'll read. I'll read them out, and you talk about it. Okay. So the Exalted Bloodthirster abilities. I'm gonna just read them in order. So the first one is Hellfire Wrought Armor.
So this is the this is the before we do this, you can
It's
pick
the-
one or you can roll 2 dice and have 2.
The perks for being exalted.
Yeah. So you can pick one or you can roll 2 dice and have 2 of them.
That is correct.
And if I was to do that for Khorne, I'd probably roll because most of these are good.
They're all good.
Yes.
Like some are definitely better, but they're all like worth.
Go, give me the
punch.
perks.
So it's
Send notes.
the Hellfire Wrought Armor. This model has a 2+ save.
It's great, like, because at the moment,
such a good deal.
it's really good. And I mean, AP is still AP though.
Yeah.
So the big stuff that you're going to be hit by anyway is still going to be hitting you with -4 AP anyway.
But
So kind of, yeah, it's cool,
Oh,
but
but
you've
it
got
means you're
you've
not
got
gonna get
but
those
you've
little
or I could not take that and I could take the armor of Khorne, which gives me a better armor save and a better.
it's the armor of Khorne relic.
It's a relic.
Yeah,
But this, so you can put that on top of this.
No, why would you do that?
So you have 2
for it.
two up and a 4 up.
Ooh.
Yeah, I guess you
So
could.
you could
Extra
give a
callous.
lot more.
I think there's better things than that. You can do.
Yeah.
there are better things, and we'll get to those. But I mean, the 2 up save, that's good because you already have a 5 up invulnerable save. So things with AP -1 is you'll be back to where you were before with a 3 up save. It only becomes in anything greater than AP -3, which you're invulnerable.
Which
save.
is what's going to be targeting you anyway. Right? They'll be like that.
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. It's up against tank weapons, right? So that's
Yeah.
kind of what we need to measure it against.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's good.
Or,
I mean,
or hell blasters.
It's going to help a lot with the smaller fire and things like Helvrins and stuff. With it's got very low AP but high damage
Auto
weapons.
cannons, yeah, those kind of things. Like it's just gonna stop that because that's what always happens, right? You bring it down to like it's got like 2 wounds left. You've used all your heavy weapons, and
Yeah.
you just plink away at it with a couple of random squads until you kill it.
Exactly.
Right?
And the thing is that in this game, Weight of Fire still ends up having a lot more effect than heavy weapons.
Yeah.
So half the time I lose most of my wounds to light arm fire because there's just more of it.
You're welcome.
You can't save it all. Shut up.
Absolutely welcome. That's why we're sitting on the end of the tables.
Because you two kids will fight.
Yeah, hold me back. Hold me back. Let me at him. Hold me back.
You eviscerated me last time.
All right, the next one, and this one is,
you're
I
close,
think
you're close.
this is one of the best ones. Blood Blast. This null cannot lose more than 8 wounds
Blood
in the
Blast.
same phase.
We literally talked about this last episode.
Yeah.
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 It's great. I mean, 8 is a lot.
This is
How many
great.
wounds does a blood
It's
16?
great. It's sad that I have to use up one of my perks to do it where Gazgul just gets it for being Gazgul.
Well,
I will
he
point
is
out that it
Gazgul.
is actually no, it
that's
is.
true. He is
For phase.
Gaskell.
It's phase, not turn.
No,
Yeah.
so some armies could definitely spank you in one turn.
Grey Knights.
Grey Knights will smack you.
Gone.
But
Thousand Suns. Gone.
they
Tau
That will
have
be a happy day.
Tau will be good because I'm just like, but Tau
Sisters
will
could
get
do
it
it.
rough regardless because of that.
some
They're-
armies are
they're
going to have a lot
short-sighted,
more
they can't
trouble
read.
doing it. But the thing is, it still helps. And if you
Codexes.
and there's things because when we talk about Grey Knights and stuff, what we're really talking about, we're talking about this the psychic spam.
Yeah.
And that's but if you screen it, sure, that's great. But then they're still good in close combat. So,
Yeah, it's multiple phases of the game, right?
but it makes it a lot more survivable because
It does make a lot of survival. I mean, they've got 16
Eight is
wounds,
a
so
lot,
you
though.
it is a lot.
It's half, right?
you can still really that is half. There's exactly half, so you can still kind of kill
I would
it
have
in the
probably made
first
it
turn.
6, so it takes 3 phases to kill him.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like that would have been better.
Yeah, just purely because there's a lot of people
it's
who
still
have
very good,
3
though.
phases to kill them.
But the difference between
Plus whatever
the Bloodthirster,
stratagems.
sorry, the difference between the Bloodthirster and Gazgul is slow and doesn't fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
And Gazgul can deep strike, I guess,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, well, there you go.
He also got killed by a commissar.
Is this are you excited for this one, or do you think it's like
He didn't
not
get
as
killed,
great as
no.
it actually?
Well, the
mostly
blood
killed.
blast,
Yeah.
it's good, but I would have rather it been a rule
Yeah.
attached to the bloodthirster than have to be something that I have to
Yeah.
sacrifice something to
No,
get.
I agree with that, and I'm actually wondering if it's actually a trap. It seems better than it
It
actually
is better than it actually is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
sounds better than it actually is, realistically. You'd rather have the survivability to ignore the wounds, or to have the wounds that you receive make you better,
Yeah.
than to have limited wounds but in a game where there's 3 phases where you can take wounds.
there is one of them where you heal yourself, right? When you kill things, you get.
That's a relic. For every model it's one of the new relics. We'll talk about it later. But for every model you kill, on a 5+, you get a wound back.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
for healing. Yeah, that's the one way to heal.
Oh,
It's
5+?
5+? Meh.
Nah.
Not when
I don't know. You play against like Death Guard, and you start to really notice
There's
when there's 5
Slanesh.
pluses. happening.
But Slanesh.
No.
Slanesh have a sword that basically every model they kill they get it.
See, but
probably
that guy's a
dildo,
5 if you're
right?
not playing.
Slash is it,
yeah.
And this you gotta go kill something and then you gotta get it back.
Yeah.
The next one, Arch Murderer. Add 1 to damage characteristics of all weapons. This model is a quick win. That one's quite good.
For the swipe attack, right?
Yeah.
Killing Marines.
And I-
Damage characteristics. Yeah,
To all
because that means basically the big swing
Yeah.
is now 2 damage.
Which means you're so that's
How does that? But does that make the big hammer blows at 1 plus d6?
Yeah, D6 plus 1.
D6 plus 1, which is still better because then you're at least guaranteeing some damage. So you're at least getting damage too. But I think if you had that, you'd almost always go for the swing because mathematically that works out better for almost everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'd roll on this table every time.
Because
absolutely.
exactly. There's so much good
There's
stuff.
not one that you'd pick. There's no
Yeah,
one that's
yeah.
just shits
Well,
and everything
no,
else.
there is one, but we'll get to that. It doesn't shit on, but if you play your Bloodthirster in a certain way, this is the one that you want. But the thing is, so I think the Bloodthirster is 8 attacks base, was it? Or was it 6 attacks? I think it's 8 attacks.
8 attacks, and then if you use the swipe, it's double that.
Yes, exactly. So before, when you were swiping at Primaris with 8 attacks, it would become 16 attacks, and then
4 of them, if you did it perfectly, would die.
yes, exactly. Now,
8.
yeah. No, you can have up to 16 Primaris die if you got everything.
Oh
perfect.
yeah, right, yeah.
That's not a swipe. It's just like going through
So
Tinder and like
it's
5
almost
minutes.
gone from like there's no point using it against Primaris to
Left. Oh.
when a Primaris sees a Bloodthirster, with a swipe attack come on the board. That's my squad is gone.
Yeah, your 10-man squad. Your 10-man squad of Primaris guys is gone in one round. That's a
But
big
if it's just
deal.
a guardsman, I'm like, oh no.
Oh, you killed them again.
So you pick your fights right. You just pick your fights for it.
What's it? Slaughterborn. If this is the one that was on the GW preview. If in the charge phase the small makes a charge move, is charged, heroically intervenes, add 1 to the strength and attack characteristic.
So it's on top of what it already
So
gets.
I do like it. It sounds really small, but to have your attacks now being, I think you're pretty much wounding.
Your base strength 8 now.
Yeah, wounding
Which
pretty
is
much everything on
7
a
to 8
Yeah,
is a
2.
big jump.
and
It's
then an
important
extra
jump.
attack.
Yeah.
So you're getting 9, so
Yeah.
what is that, 18 on the swipes?
Yeah.
Wounding
Yeah.
2s. I mean, it's actually not bad.
It's near.
If you roll for 2 and you got double damage with that as
It's
well.
better than what it was, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that still bothers me is that whole extra attack. So,
I mean,
Marines just get it because they're Marines.
Well, no, this is cumulative with your other ability.
it's that
Yeah, I know. It pans up with the other ability, but it still bothers me that my base rule for being Khorne is basically replicated by Marines because Marines are Marines.
Marines are terrifying in close combat.
Yeah.
Just most basic Marine.
Yeah, but
yeah.
more terrifying than demons.
No,
No.
because your demons are neg 4 AP. That's strength 5. That's much
But
scarier.
that's the weapon, not.
Yeah, that's the weapon the dude comes with. Like,
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not excited by that one. That doesn't. If I rolled and got that one, I'd be like,
No, should you?
I'm
You don't-
okay.
You don't have the
I'm
army.
okay, man.
If I rolled it and I got it, I wouldn't.
You'd be like, yeah,
I'd be
okay.
like, yeah, I can work with
I'd
it.
probably be the second or the bottom 2 out of everything.
I
on the
said,
list.
well, it doesn't help your delivery, which is the problem,
No,
right?
and that's one of them, but we'll get to that. Rage Unchained. This model is considered to have double the number of wounds remaining for the purpose of determining where on the chart it is.
That's great, and we'll come back to that one later because it actually ties in with that relic that we're going to talk about shortly.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
And that one,
I think it's fine.
it's fine. It just means your bloodthirst is better for longer, which
Yeah.
is as soon as things degrade. Because when I took my Wraith Knight to a tournament, and I suggest anyone if they do take a Wraith Knight, everyone takes Alatok and stuff because they would make it -1 hit. That's a trap. It is a trap. What you want is Iendin. So you double the stats because then your Wraith Knight is running at full power down to 6 wounds, and your opponent always asks, when does it bracket? I'm like, not for a very, very long time.
You gotta wait. It's
You
gonna
gotta
be
wait.
a little while.
And that does make it a really good one because the
Yeah.
biggest issue about Khorne Bloodthirst is getting them into that line. By the time you get into that line, they're down to like 4 wounds.
I did down to 2 attacks. I think it's the lowest bracket. It's 2
Well,
attacks.
Yeah,
It's
fucking shit.
which is pathetic.
It's like for something they can't shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Khorne should get more. Anyway, that's another discussion.
We've done this.
Uh,
We've been here.
Unrivaled Bloodlust, this is the one. When the charge roll is made for this model, add 2 to the results. In addition, this model can perform heroic interventions. There are enemy units within 6 inches of them instead of 3.
And it has flight.
And they can move
Well, it
6
can have
inches.
flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean,
Probably
it's a
one
big
of the
old
best ones.
base, so moving that 6 inches could be difficult.
Well,
but,
see,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I said, you're going to be blocked out of a lot of those interventions. So.
yeah. But again, it's making your opponent block you out, right?
Just-
Which is messing with their movement and what their game plan is.
Yeah. I
there's
think
value in
I think the best part of that is at 2 inches
2 inches when you deep
Oh,
strike.
yeah.
because that means
yeah.
your deep strike is
Shit,
now
yeah.
their deep strike is now what
7-inch
7-inch charge.
And
That's doable.
That's
See,
yeah. It's great.
not just that. I mean, hear me out on this one. Because you got a 6-inch heroic intervention. If most units only have a 6-inch move.
Yeah.
So if they fall back and when they fall back, they're
Still
still
there.
They're still there, and so you can keep
Ooh,
moving into them.
yeah.
Keep on
right.
moving up, moving
So
up,
hold on,
moving up, moving up.
the heroic intervention. I thought that's just when you're getting charged, you can heroically intervene.
No, it's at the
Yeah,
end
it's
of
at the end of the enemy's
charge
phase.
phase.
You can do it as
If
well.
your character is oops.
Oh, the light died. That's a problem.
Please hold for technical difficulties. Rerouting.
Best one. There's really nothing bad on that charge. It's probably roll for it.
No, it's
to
all
roll
pretty
for it,
good.
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna quick because we don't have much time left. We're gonna go on to the relics. There are 3 relics, and actually all of these are really good.
They're all good, right?
There's
Yeah.
the axe. I'm not gonna go through all the special rules, but it's a halfway decent X, but on the 4+, if your Bloodthirster dies, it gets back up with D6 wounds.
Yeah, well, he becomes a different Bloodthirster.
He becomes a different Bloodthirster.
He becomes a different Bloodthirster, and not only does he get up with D6 wounds, he gets that thing where all his wounds count as double.
That's right.
So
he's
if you get lucky enough to roll a 6, he's hitting pretty hard.
Yeah, he's
hitting pretty hard.
Yeah.
Something that people think they'll fucking manage to deal with. I mean, the stats of the actual weapon itself aren't terrible. +3 strength, -4 AP, D6 damage.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works with the profiles.
Because he's strength 7.
So
So he's strength 7. So it's like, he just has this X. So
Yeah.
he'd be strength 10, which is decent enough.
Yeah, I mean,
most
it's still
So
good.
yeah,
It's
but
good.
what I'm saying is you got a profile that is ×2 strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that work with a special weapon?
Strength 20, man.
No, you swap it with this one. No, no, it doesn't become a ×2 because that's the
Oh,
other.
it's his attack's tied to his weapon.
So does that
Yeah.
mean I can't use
yeah,
the
yeah.
sweeping and the
No, you just have this X.
Yeah, you just have that attack.
In which case it's kind of.
Yeah.
But your
That's a
Bloodthirster
loss.
got back up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he got
also
back
the
up.
Bloodthirster got back up.
But the ×2 strength on a Bloodthirster means you're wounding any vehicle, any heroic, any monster, any fucking titan.
Yeah, but you still be
On a
wounding
2.
most things on 3s or 2s. There's not
Yeah.
much. Yeah, but there's nothing you won't wound on a 3.
Yeah.
Anyways,
True.
it's decent.
This is all like the corny boys.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
well,
there's
yeah.
heaps more for each faction.
Yeah.
Or
For each demon
I mean,
faction.
I do want to talk about the Zeech one a little bit because Spell Stealer is the greatest thing in the world.
It is. For it's terrible. For
Yeah.
Elder players.
Yeah, I mean, also because
Terrifying
they have
Stealthy.
a +2 to denial when they're on
Yeah.
their full wounds.
Yeah.
So they are denying.
Yeah, I didn't
everything.
realise that. I didn't realise it's got a +2 to their denial. So +2 on the denial. So that's astounding.
And if they
And
deny
they're,
it,
and they're stealing your spells.
Yeah,
it's
denied.
they
mental.
don't steal it. They don't take it and they can use it. They
it's just
forget
it's
it.
gone.
Yeah.
It's not even
Forget it.
denial.
For the
We're not
rest
even listening.
of the game. And can you imagine you bring Nulza in to deal with demons and then it's gone?
Yeah.
Could
Or
you
just your
imagine
smites are
smites
gone.
gone? Yeah.
Not all
Your
your
Grey
smites.
Knights can't smite because
That
it keeps denying.
No, that Grey Knight can't smite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
per,
yeah.
But
it's per,
still.
it's per character, like
Yeah.
per
Yeah,
unit using
Well,
it.
your whole army doesn't forget
But
it. But I
at
mean, that's crazy
+2
good.
for smite,
They have,
at
they have like,
+2
what,
to
3 denials
Yeah.
base?
But a lot of people online say, I'm not worried about it, I'm just going to shoot them off the table, which, yeah, you
Yeah.
can do. But the thing is, with these new terrain range rules, Obscure, that might not be as easy
And he's also
anymore.
going to have he get 4 up inbound. Like
4
it's
up
not-
inbound.
If he hides behind Noil,
There's got some other things
But
as well.
talking about psychic stuff, the rune of brass for the Khorne one is actually quite cool.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so, any psyker doing a psychic test within 16 inches of whoever's got this thing suffers perils of the warp on any double,
Yeah.
and they take a flat 3 mortal wounds. I mean that's a lot of psychers aren't
That's-
tough.
No, it's like
You know, they don't have that many wounds.
other
so-
warlocks are just going to drop dead.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think that's actually a really cool thing.
That's a 1 in 6 chance of
Is
paralysis.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure, but that's exalted only, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's great, but it's something I'd want to chuck on a prince. Something like you can send off to do that kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the Bloodthirst is such a big target to have it.
Because you got to get into now range first.
Yeah.
right?
And then
You
if the
gotta
prince
jump right
abdicates from the royal family,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
moves to
yeah,
Canada,
yeah,
then-
yeah, that's right.
then it's
And then
all
the
over.
Tsars, right?
Yeah, then there's.
The Tsars, yes.
Yeah.
And Archduke Ferdinand.
You gotta watch
Don't get me
this.
started on Rasputin.
And the last relic is one that was on the community page. For every model you kill on the 5+, you get a wound bag up to maximum of 8.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good.
It's
not-
useful, but a 5+.
Yeah, you charge them into unit, 10
That's the
boys,
same
and
as
you're killing
the-
10 of them.
And
Same as that
you
rough
kill
fight.
10 of them,
It's 3-4 wounds.
3 or 4 wounds back, which is nothing to snuff at.
Yeah, it's no joke.
It's
You guys say that because you roll consistently good. I say 5+, like 5+.
They have loaded dice. We don't.
I haven't quite put mine in the microwave yet, so
There's no accounting for
No, it's some-
chances rolling. That's
yeah.
a statistical.
Is that the same as that one that the Imperial Guard have? There's that one with the Warlord, and if you roll higher than... Oh, no, it's a tank. And if you roll higher, then it gets a wound back, but you have to spend a CP to do it.
That's true.
That's
Oh, jury rigging.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
totally different thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a totally different thing. Sorry.
And
I'm new.
Coronavirus.
I've been playing for years, and I'm still new. I'm the cool guy that doesn't know the rules.
just quickly, because you talked about this earlier, Kit, and you really liked it. Brass Stampede.
yeah, I think it's
Yes,
amazing.
so good.
The potential
This
of
is this is bonkers.
Use a
good.
stratagem in your charge phase when a Bloodletter Cavalry unit from your army finishes a charge move. For each model in that unit, you can select one enemy unit within 1 inch of that model and roll 1d6. On a 2+, the enemy unit suffers
On a
1
2+.
mortal wound. On a 2+, it's pretty much guaranteed mortal wounds, which is
And
great.
then...
On a 6, it's d3. If these mortal wounds destroy all enemy units within 1 inch of a unit, it can charge again.
That is incredibly powerful.
That is so good.
That is insane.
Out of all
How
the-
big can that unit be? 9 guys?
I actually have never because the models I got for my Blood Crushers are literally out of that box set. I've never looked to
I
expand.
think they
them.
come in. I think you can have 9 of them. So you can, if you roll like average, right? Get a couple of D3s, a couple of like single mortal wounds, charge into a unit of guardsmen, kill them, get to that tank.
Bounce off the
I know,
screen.
my guardsmen are
Bounce
dead.
them. Yeah,
Because that now a screen is
Oh, no, my
a
tank's
jumping
dead.
point for the enemy. That's
it's become a liability.
yeah,
right?
it's become a liability.
Your
You
defense has become a problem.
Now, I'll tell you one that I personally like because blood leaders, everyone has to take blood leaders. You just
So
have to
good,
take them. It costs a lot though, 3 CP, but when a blood leader dies, it gets to, at the end of it, do its little fight.
On the
It's to
4+.
fight before he dies. They become
Is that
wolfen.
far
on
on
a 4+.
position?
That's wolven.
Yeah, on a
They're
4+,
fucking
on a 4+,
wolfen.
he wolvens it.
Yeah.
On a 4+, he wolvens it.
It's kind of weirdly
But
worded. I can't tell if it's
I
just one
don't-
boy
I
or if
don't
it's
like-
the unit. It's really
No.
confusing.
It's everyone that dies in that unit gets to then attack at the end of it, but I don't like having to pay 3 CP and then having to roll a 4+.
So no,
I feel like it's really
No,
expensive
that's-
for luck.
you
That's
roll
far
you
on
roll
position.
sorry, you roll a 4+ for every
Bit better.
model that dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I don't like
Much
is having
better.
to roll that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to make me roll it and have the opportunity that my things aren't going to work,
Yeah.
don't charge me 3 CP because that's a lot of
It's
CP.
the orbital bomb problem,
It's
right?
the same
See,
thing with
what-
the
okay.
Oh yeah,
But,
orbital.
Yeah, either it happens for 3 CP or you roll for it for 2 CP.
But the thing is, now 3 CP ain't a big deal.
well, that's the thing. We
Yeah.
Well, it
don't
depends. It could still be a big
because if
deal.
we're starting a
Yeah.
2,000 point game
Yeah.
with 20 CP. I mean, 3 CP. I do that every day. I do that
Considering-
every combat phase.
considering-
I do it 5 times a game.
But
Like,
considering majority of stratagems are 1 CP, I mean that Brass Stampede, that's only 1 CP, and that's fucking good.
that's
Yeah.
incredible.
That
I feel
Bloodthirster
like
one-
that's going to get bumped.
that
'cause that's
Bloodthirster one
way too
for
good
3
1 CP.
That Blood Letter one for 3 CP against a one singular unit that you're fighting. I
That
feel like
blood,
that's
that
too
blood crusher
expensive.
one is too cheap.
Let me enjoy it.
And
Before it
then
gets
there's
destroyed.
one more for the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that they showed, and it's good, but it's not good because.
Advance and charge is good.
Okay, so tell me, what phases before the charge phase do I have to kill something?
Well, what do you mean? Like,
That-
To activate this, I have to have something die on the board. So what phases
dear.
before that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So then suddenly it's not that good, right?
Especially-
Suddenly it's actually not that great.
If you go pure Khorne, the only thing you have, literally the only thing, because you have no
so
psychic
do you
phase.
burn it in the movement
Yeah.
phase or do you burn it in the fight? Like, when do you?
Okay. Is it
Charge
like
phase.
a las gun or what?
So you do it in the charge phase. So
Yeah.
you have to kill something in the shooting phase.
Trivium.
'cause the assault
Or the
phase.
psychic
Yeah.
phase, which
Yeah,
they're the
exactly.
abstract corn army would
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
There you go.
dirty.
And the thing about there are other armies which have a
Oh, they did you so wrong.
even the sisters have a advanced and charge stratagem.
Yeah, like it's just give them advance and charge. They're doggos.
That's
Yeah,
what it
exactly,
should have
right?
been.
Yeah.
It
And
did
then-
not need this caveat.
no, you did not need it. It's
And-
1 CP.
Yeah, 1
It's
CP.
fluffy.
It's 1 CP. It's great. Like, it's fluffy, and even
Do you know,
even
just
without
let, not
even,
even the, well, just let them advance and charge.
even without the
Ugh. Yeah, ugh, gross.
He's
Yeah.
trying to raid.
But the thing is, I don't think
It'll take a minute.
because the way we
Okay,
look at
so-
demons is we look at them as pure things when they're designed
They're
to
not.
be
They're
mixed.
Yeah, they're not. They're supposed
And
to have
that's
this,
not how I
this,
like to
this,
play it.
this,
But
this.
looking at the thing again, they get that reroll. They can advance and charge without anything dying. They get a +2 to that charge if something has died.
Yeah, maybe.
So it's still usable.
I mean-
it's still
Oh,
very
okay.
usable.
Oh, hold on. So, whoa.
So I can still advance and charge.
So you can advance.
But if something dies,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
okay.
No,
Thank you. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's going back to being awesome again.
yeah.
No, that's
so
awesome.
Really
And that's
comprehensive.
again, it's like a 9-man squad, right? And they have what, 2 wins apiece?
Yeah, they're really good. I like
Yeah,
the dogs.
the T5.
Okay, I take that back. They're not really good. I just really like the dogs.
No, they're
exactly,
good.
yeah.
They're like
I
they're a
just think-
well-pointed and effective unit. for
Yeah,
what they are.
yeah. They're not overly powerful. And
They do the job well.
and
They got
Karanak
psychic
doesn't.
things?
No, oh, they deny psychic.
That's it,
Brass
yeah.
Collars deny psychic.
Yeah.
They're not
Even
overly
they want-
powerful.
oh, no.
And
I have no psychers.
yeah, well,
Sorry.
they're
not
not
smart.
overly powerful. They're relatively quick. They're not. But they got the wounds, but they're 5 up invul is all I've got.
Yeah.
It's great, but the biggest nitpick I've got to go with them is that Karnak doesn't do anything to help them.
Yeah, we
That
talked
for
about
me
it
is
last
just the
week,
weirdest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there needs to be some aura benefits there.
Yeah, he should do something.
Yeah, even if it's just all their advances automatically is 6 or something.
Still though, you got the buff.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
a buff's better than no buff, right?
you got a bit of a polish on the old
There's
car.
there's so much more.
Yeah,
There's
so much more.
The Mechanicum alone, I think next week we're just going to be Mechanicum and Knights, right?
Pretty much,
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all we're going to talk
Well,
about.
we're going to be
Is that
talking
Power
about the rest of
Mechanic?
Psychic Awakening. We might
No.
dabble in some of the other demons.
Okay.
Well, hopefully...
Just
We haven't even had a chance to talk about Harlequins yet.
No,
You've got so much to say.
I do, but that's going to have to be another time. Then, to be honest, I don't know when their thing's going to be out. Because it's going to be one of the White Dwarfs. I don't know if it's this month or next month.
Yeah.
Gotta find that out.
Can we talk about, like, just quickly, I mean, poor Deathwatch.
Oh man, they got screwed.
That sucks
Yeah.
so hard.
Some of the other armies really got shafted in Psychic
I
Awakening.
mean,
Tyranids, they got it pretty
I
bad.
feel like because I felt bad for Gene Steelcops,
Yeah.
but then I'm like, oh, maybe it's because those rules will mean more in 8.5, right?
Yeah.
In 9th edition.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Like Deathwatch is just like
No.
nothing happened.
No, nothing. It's
Like,
just
literally nothing happened.
they gave you some of the
I don't have
universal
Deathwatch.
Space Marine rules.
Yeah, that's
about
it. That's it. Nothing special. No little knees. No special stratagems. No like warlord traits. No relics. Nothing.
See, the thing is, I do believe that the way the Harlequins and the Deathwatch have been balanced is them designed to be auxiliary units to other armies now. I don't think
Yeah.
they're meant to be on their own anymore, which is a shame, but it is what it
Give
is.
Rattling some
Well,
traits.
yeah,
That's what
Deathwatch
I'm
should
saying.
be like that, like, exclusionary force that does it on their own, kind
Yeah,
of. Like, that's their job.
maybe. I don't know.
Ogrins. Give Ogrins
Anyway,
strategies.
there's no way we're going to be able to get through everything in this
No,
one session,
no.
so...
No, I think next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not driving.
What's everyone working on this week?
I have a gribbly dude with the gribbly machine. I can never remember his name. Arc Mechanic.
Oh no, the
and he's got the thing.
Disco Lord.
The Disco Lord, yes.
Yeah. You're a disco
Lord
lord.
Discordant. Thank you
Is
very
that
much.
actually his name?
He's the Lord Discordant.
But we
Disco Lord.
Disco Lord.
Or between him
Names are atrocious.
and the Blood Crushers. Him or the Blood Crushers.
I mean, you
And
gotta
now
be
after,
pretty
after
motivated
this,
for the
I'm kind of like Blood
Crushers now,
Crushers,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've just been removing Flash from Guardsmen.
Sounds like a fun job.
It's fuck. It's not great.
Do you reckon you're gonna get a new kit, and then what are you gonna do?
Great. I'm gonna sell it on eBay for $1 reserve,
$1 per guardsman.
and I'll just have
120
the title,
guardsmen.
120 guardsmen with waste of time for sale.
My hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Although as female guardsmen, I can integrate them into it, but not
Honestly,
that.
I think even if they brought
Swatch
out,
cares about diversity.
if they brought out a new
Oops, I mean,
guardsman,
they're great. Sorry.
if they brought out a new guardsman kit, you could easily just integrate them.
Oh, totally.
No, it's
Yeah,
not that big a
do
deal.
that. It's fine.
It depends which kind of
Style's not
guardsman
gonna
there. There
change
might
that
be
much.
Calicans.
Yeah, because it's fortunate because everything's based off. You know, it's like when you see anything like a drawing of a scale, it's always got a man, or a woman, or like a human, as a scale thing.
Yeah.
And I'm presuming that the Imperial Guard are that silhouette. Is that silhouette?
Yeah, the design's
So
not gonna change.
yeah,
that.
I don't think
Yeah.
the design's going to change that much. That's
So you
like
can just kind of.
I'm not gonna say
Primaris
anything.
Imperial Guard.
Everybody's saying Katachan. Everybody's saying if
Yeah.
Imperial Guard are
Oh,
going
we
to get
think-
rid
yeah,
of
that's
Because
it,
they
yeah.
brought out
Yeah,
they brought
that's
out
it.
the Arnold Schwarzenegger, they brought out
Ah.
the GI Jane, and then they brought out the
Jane.
the other one, the one that looks really cool, the
Dylan.
new one. But
Yeah.
Dylan.
Your son of a
Bitch, yeah.
Yeah.
But they've all been Katachan kits so far.
What are you working on, Kit?
Just terrain. Nothing that exciting.
That's important though.
It is
Yeah, it
important.
is. Yeah.
It could be more important or less important, depending on how these rules go.
So there we go.
Everybody's getting special terrain, right? Like you're saying that each army's getting special terrain.
Maybe.
Does that mean what? Does Astra Militarum get just like
You've
a
already
massive
got it.
pile of dead bodies? Or?
You got,
You got Sky
there's
Shield.
the
and stuff.
Bestians, the Sky Shield, there's the little
War of the
shields.
Martyrs.
What are they?
But they're not in
Ah,
the
yeah,
Afterlife
those wolf
Codex. They're just things you can buy on top of it. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
You need like an ammo depot or something.
Yeah, or at a reroll or
Or
something.
just a pile of
Get a
las
fob.
guns.
I'd love a fucking an Imperial Guard fob. That'd be awesome.
That'd be sweet. Or like a MASH unit.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
a fob, which is like the Vietnam terminology, is very Catachan-y.
Yeah.
So you probably will get a fob at some point, as
Pretty
opposed to KD
Yeah,
defense.
and like it has like a high leadership, and everyone within X amount of inches uses the leadership of that fob. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Like, because the defense of Cadia didn't work, clearly.
Maybe the defense of Catachan will be better.
Yeah. Now they'll just nuke that planet and then they'll just say how they died before the goddamn.
Fucking A. Just nuke it from orbit.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
Are we done? Does anyone want to say anything?
I'm working on Sister Repentia, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a big lady.
It's
We're done. Yeah.
these leaks.
Angry ladies.
A lot of labels.
Yeah.
These leaks for the demons have made me happy. When the book comes out, I'll have a read through it in proper and see how
You already ordered it, right?
spreading it has. Oh yeah. So hopefully next Sunday it will turn up. But with this whole COVID-19 and shipping thing going on, I don't know. Who
Who's
knows
to
when
say?
it's turn up. But hopefully it turns up before our next
they've
session.
run out of Fantastics at my petrol station.
Out of what?
Fantastics.
Fantastic.
Mm.
Are those cigarettes? Or?
No, they're delicious treats.
Oh, cool.
Do you mean fantastics or fantastics?
Fantastics.
Are you
It's
talking
a
about
play
like?
on words?
Are you playing like little like lolly teeth?
No, they're Tangfastics. That's what they're called.
That sounds awfully sexual.
Delicious. They're delicious. We've been
I
watching.
do love the taste
We've
of
been
tang.
watching Killing Eve, and in Killing Eve, there's a guy who keeps talking about Tangfastics, and we keep wanting to go to the petrol station to get Tangfastics, but then
This is a
Oh, you're
serious
such
first
a
world problem.
hipster. Oh, you're so heavily influenced by the media around you. man.
Killing
It's
Eve is a
terrifying.
great show.
I'm not
Watch
denying
Killing
that. I'm
Eve.
not denying that. But it's like saying, well, on the Coke advert, they look really happy, so I really feel like having a Coke.
I know. Well, every time I see a taco on TV, I want to eat a taco.
Yeah.
just
It's
like-
really
You're weak-minded.
people eat that.
Weak-minded.
Yeah, yeah. I
And that's
constantly
why you
want
guys
Mexican
follow
food.
the meta. That's just all I'm saying.
It's really hard to get meth at the moment, so
It is actually, yeah. That's just lockdown. This lockdown and meth, man. Lockdown and meth doesn't work.
There's a dealer in my park now. Yeah, there's a dealer in my little local park.
You yell out to him, how much?
Yeah.
Does he go,
Nah, he just
$100 a grand?
cars pull up and he's just like.
Is he contact tracing?
I assume so. He seems responsible.
Yeah. Where have you been before? This is probably long.
We're done,
recording.
right?
We're done,
I think
yeah.
we're done.
no, it's still red.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
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 They're
See
all
you next
empty,
week.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's okay.
See you guys next week.
Next week.
Minor conflict.